Good morning, everyone. It is New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2018 at 7 a.m. in the morning. I've been up all night. I got to work over the weekend. I'm really happy about that. I haven't got to work in almost a month. And I've been answering some emails and comments, and I'd like to go over a few things that's going on right now and for the next few days. Firstly, I got asked the question about the blood moons and the moon itself. The comment was playing leapfrog over Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury. That's no big deal. The moon, as you would say, leapfrogs every planet, the sun included, once a month. It does it 13 times a year, and in different orders every time it does it. So this is really no big deal. By the time it gets to Venus, Venus is going to be in Libra, Jupiter will be in Scorpio, and Mercury will be in Sagittarius before the moon gets to it. And then it'll jump Saturn and the sun. So there's nothing special about that. That happens all the time. But what is going on that's special is I want to back up a few days and talk about Saturn. Let's back Saturn up 10 degrees from the sun. At this point, we had a government shutdown. The sun put Saturn combust at 10 degrees, and we had a government shutdown with Mercury conjunct Jupiter. I'm going to show you when it's going to end, is when it gets 10 degrees the other side of the sun. We had the government shutdown there, and we should have a government coming back open on the 13th, or at least talking, because now Saturn, that rules government, is no longer combust of the sun, and you have Mercury conjunct Saturn. So in my opinion, I expect this shutdown to go until the 13th. And that don't mean it'll open back up then, but we will have talks. Right now, they're not even communicating about it. So all over their wall, or whatever their reasons are for stall tactics, delay, it's personal hate as far as I'm concerned. It really doesn't have anything to do with the wall. It's just, all of this is very personal to all of them. So government shut down until Mercury conjuncts Saturn on the 13th. That's what we have going on right now. That's the big cards that are in play. Oh, and then, let me bring the moon back. Because the moon, after it does its little jump, too far. It's going to be on the... We have a partial solar eclipse, which will occur starting on the 5th at 1700 hours, coming full at 19. So for about almost 3 hours, we're going to see the moon eclipse the top part of the sun, which is, when you talk about a new moon, that's the sun and the moon in the sky at the same time. This is new beginnings. And the closer it is, the more drastic the change is. Just like a solar eclipse, where the moon completely eclipses the sun, that's big change, representing whatever house of the zodiac and element that it's in. So the days to watch are the 5th, when we get this partial solar eclipse, and the 13th, when the sun is further than 10 degrees from Saturn and Mercury conjunct Saturn. And that's going to happen at about 7 in the morning on the 13th. About 7:30, I'm going to put it. Yeah, I'm going to put it at 7:30 on the 13th. And this will be my time, so that will put it East Coast time, early in the morning. And there's my opinion on what all's going on. What's specific about the 3 blood moons? That doesn't happen often, where you have 3, bam, bam, bam. But it does happen. It's not a super big deal. What makes it a super big deal is when it's happening. everything that's happening between these two eclipses. The eclipse of 2017 and 2024 are 7 years apart. That's what you call the time of Jacob's trouble. Decisions have to be made that determines what the future of this country will be, the United States, because that's where it happened. Whenever eclipses happen, they change everything about the nation that they happen in. Usually you say when an eclipse happens, heads roll, heads of state roll. And that has proven to be true in the past. Again, it also relates to what house of the zodiac. It's not necessarily heads of state. When in Capricorn or signs related to government, then it's going to be government. If it's sign related to the people or prosperity, then that will be affected. But this time we had the eclipse in Leo, which is at the bottom of the fixed cross. And the next eclipse the first one was in fire and the second one was in fire. Now, the last thing I want to show you, I want to make this video quick so I can get some charts done today before I go to bed. So, this is what I want to talk about now. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. No, go to 21, back it up one. I want to go to the winter solstice of 2020 when we have the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in Capricorn. Because this is the end of a cycle when we talk about this particular Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. This goes back quite a while. So let me back it up 20 years to the last Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. Let's back up the years. Let me follow my... Whoops. That was not supposed to happen. Am I still on? I hit the wrong button. I want this button. And let's back it up and go to the last Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. Which was in 2000. He's going to do his little retrograde. Let him come back. I want the first coming into the conjunction. And it happens in May of 2000, May 29th of 2000, we had a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in Taurus, with Venus, the Sun, the Mars in Taurus as well. Okay, so in 2020, it's going to be in cardinal Earth. In 2000, it was in fixed Earth that this conjunction happened. Let's go back again 20 more years. Oops. Nope, there we go. 1981. Come on, move along. There we go. Is he going retrograde again? Now we have July 24th, 1981. It's also on an Earth sign. So in 1981, we had the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in mutable Earth. In 2000, it switched to fixed Earth. And in 2020, it moves to cardinal Earth. So this is all about Earth signs. It's always been about Earth signs since the 20s. Now, the strange thing about this is this, let me pull this back. This goes way, way back. So let's go back to the turn of the century. I'm just going to let this roll back and show you how cycles repeat themselves. 22, 21. This is 1921. we pretty much have a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction on 9/11/1921 in mutable Earth. They're repeating the cycle. They knew these cycles were going to come. They knew when this is when it started. This is when the whole ritual began of what we call the 9/11 ritual. And it all had to do with this cycle now of mutable Earth. And when a conjunction happens in a mutable sign, that's the beginning. It is the change. It's the mutable. And then it moves to the fixed. And then it moves to the cardinal. Now that is impressive, because that don't always happen. You don't have jumping cycles like that. It just don't. I have looked at it. I have studied the patterns. So in 2020, let's come back. I don't even know why it keeps pulling me over there. Let's shut this down. Back to our day today. Okay, here's today. Let's go to 2020. And it happens in Capricorn. This is the culmination. You go from mutable, fixed to cardinal. So all of this that's been going on, it's all been pre-planned to try to hijack what's going to happen right here. And in 1981, when Saturn met Jupiter in Virgo, Pluto was there as well. So this is going to be a repeat of that event. It's a Saturn-Jupiter-Pluto conjunction in an Earth sign. But instead of being mutable Earth, it will be cardinal Earth this time. That's what I wanted to talk about. Those, and this eclipse here, this conjunction happens 3.5 years, a halfway point between two eclipses. Now that is something that you should stand up and take note to. But to say the Jupiter, the moon is going to do a Venus-Jupiter, what was it? Venus-Jupiter, it's not Mercury. Venus-Jupiter-Mercury jump. Now, that happens every month, just in a different order. And a lot of times the conjunctions are a lot closer than what these are. Is it significant that it's in between the blood moons? No, but the blood moons are significant because of where they lie between the eclipses and the conjunctions. Any special anomaly that's going to happen between these two eclipses is highly important, especially at the 3.5 year period, because we have the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction with Pluto repeat in an Earth sign of cardinal Earth. That's the big difference. That 2020 is the date, has always been the target date. This has been the target goal, because cardinal Earth, that's the most high of the Earth. You don't get any more powerful than that in an Earth sign. And this is what they want to control. They want to control the entire Earth. And to do that, you have to control cardinal Earth. And that's their goal. Cardinal Earth, Capricorn, is represented by North America. There are 3 Earth signs. Taurus, which is represented by Africa. And then we have mutable Earth. Now, there's a discrepancy on this, but if I had to give my opinion, I would say mutable Earth is represented by Australia. It's the other Earth sign. How do we know this? Because the races tell us this. In North America, you'll find ancient indigenous artifacts of black people. You find black people in Australia, and you find black people in Africa, and the color of Earth is black. Just like white is for water, right? It's the water signs, and most of those, they're all, to me, they're represented by Europe, the Arctic, and the Antarctic. Those are your 3 water signs. I heard somebody say once that Africa has water magic. water is opposite Africa. Africa's earth magic, not water. I don't know where they get this erroneous information from, but it's quite clear. Once you learn this alchemy and you start using it, the truth starts coming out. And you can immediately look at something and say, well, that's disinfo, because it doesn't fit in the alchemy. That makes it traditions of men. And there is so much of that going on for so long. We all assume, right? If we don't have answers and we're curious, all we have is assumption. So I don't really say that it's disinfo, that these people are intentionally lying to us. Some of them are. But I believe that in all actuality, most of them are just going on based on the information they have. But when we understand alchemy, it's the key to all information. Whether it's astrological, whether it's biblical, you can take alchemy anywhere and superimpose it, and the truth of the subject and the matter starts to come out. All right. I'm going to wrap this up here. I don't want to keep it too long. I need to process this, get this uploaded, spend a few minutes with Kelly here. She's starting to stare at me. I've done took her out to walk, but she just needs some loving time. I've been gone all night babysitting. She was just lonely. And I'll get back to y'all. Happy New Year's to everybody. My new ritual. I want to take one more minute and do one more thing. My new ritual. What I'm going to do this year to make my life better. And I've already been practicing it this past week, and I have found it effective. Every day when I get up, well, the first thing we generally do when we get up is go to the bathroom and pee. So I put me a little note where I sit on the toilet, and I put me a little note on the wall in front of me that says, today I am grateful for ... I began to realize that most of what's going on in the world, especially on YouTube, the news, TV, is everybody's complaining. Everybody's complaining about what's wrong with the world, who they don't like, and the universe is just going to give you more of that. It gives you more of what you spend your time doing. So I decided I would be grateful. That's the greatest thing I could do to show the universe that if I want to be happy, then I need to start with me, and I need to be grateful for what I have. Stop complaining about what I don't have or what I don't like, because I find when I do that, I'm just getting more of what I don't have and what I don't like. So if I'm grateful for what I do have and what I do like, the universe is going to take knowledge of that, especially if I do it every day as a ritual. Get up and pee, see the little thing, start counting well, I'm grateful I woke up today. I'm grateful for my apartment and then my heater works because it's cold outside right now. I'm grateful that Kelly is doing much better. Thank you all for all of your kind words and everything that supported me through this. She's still having seizures, but they're real minimal. And I mean, at times I have to look and, is she having a seizure or is she just being Kelly? It takes me a minute to decide, and then it's over really quick. They're not these extended, long, horrible, violent seizures. It's like she loses her step for a couple of seconds, and then she shakes it off and keeps going. So I'm seeing definite signs of improvement. The detox helped. Somebody sent me some hemp oil, the CDB oil, and it's helping. I'm giving her that as well. I'm also, if she is mopey or not, looks like she's not feeling good, I don't know about her pain level. It's hard for a dog to tell you they're hurting, but you can look in her eyes and tell, because she's so full of spirit all the time. She used to be this super hyper dog, and now she's real laid back. She wants to get up and eat, do her business, and then she just wants to rest. I mean, she is a completely different dog. And she just sits and stares at me for hours. I mean, without blinking, like she's burning a hole in me. We have these stare down, and I know she's trying to communicate with me. I'm convinced that she died. and she's quite aware now of the out-of-body experience, and she's attempting this mental communication with me. And at times we are connecting the same way I used to connect with the animals. I know what she's feeling. As an empath, I can pick up on that energy and that emotion. And this is so gentle and so subtle and so loving, and she's just a different dog. In a way, I think I like her better because she's just more serious now. Used to, she's like a loose cannon. It was just reaction, reaction, reaction. And now she considers things. She'll hear a noise outside instead of just that instant roar off coming out of the gate, that she now her head will turn to the side and she'll listen to it. Like, what is that? Instead of just an instant reaction. So, yeah, there's been great changes. This has caused a lot of changes in my dog. She is definitely a different dog. All right, I want to thank you all so much. I got a couple of Christmas cards. Sue sent me a little tiny Christmas tree and a stocking and a box stuffed with all kind of stuff. It really has been a wonderful holiday season. I didn't plan on having a tree, but this one is so cute, and it's something I can keep, and that I can have it next year or the year after if I want to put up a tree. Now I have one, and it'll never die. And you know, the tree ritual, it's not really a bad ritual. There's nothing wrong with rituals. It's the underlying theme behind the rituals. It's what they stood for in the beginning. But biblically, we're told that, let's see, Daniel was told that he could go sit at the king's table and eat meat that is sacrificed to gods, and that it would do nothing to him. Once you know how the magic trick is done, the magic doesn't work on you anymore. You're no longer in awe or impressed. If you know that it's just food and that it's not going to do anything to you, then you can happily eat. It is what they convince us to believe. That's what affects you. Is the convincing you to believe, one, this place is real. Two, that what's going on around you actually matters on the world scene. It does not. That's all distraction. All that really matters is you in your small circle, in your small life. Now, if you were one of these representatives in Congress, then that would affect you because you would be part of that dynamic. But you're not. You're just like me. I'm just a nobody. I'm a nobody with not really any friends or family except for my YouTube friends and family. And I do consider many of you my family and the rest of you my friends. I've done so many of your charts that I feel like I know you personally. And over the past year, I have been starting, most of the people I do charts for are what I call repeat customers. They get their chart done, and then they come back and they want their mates or their siblings or their parents or people they love. So I'm not just getting to know the person that subs to my channel, but I'm getting to know the dynamics of their whole family. And that's very interesting perspective from my part. I cannot begin to tell you what all I'm learning. Let me see if I can pull something up real quick and I'll show you again. Everything runs in patterns, and I have patterns on my channel that just happen naturally. If it's not a pattern, it's rearranging itself to make one. Watch this. All right. I am on my video manager page where I go to manage my videos. And I have this video here, December 28, 1983. And the sun is on the head of Sagittarius, just like it is now. Then I have several of them. I did the video called The Way that has today, which the sun is on the head of Sagittarius. And then January 1st, 1963, and the sun is in the head of Sagittarius. This pattern, I can't count the videos that I've done lately to where every time I turned it on to do a video, there's the sun in the head of Sagittarius exactly where it is now. And this pattern is setting itself up. I lost all my emails. Everybody resent their information, and this is the order that it's fell in. Is to where Sagittarius and all my videos keep showing up with the sun in the head of the Sagittarian, the illuminated one, right? So the patterns are creating themselves, and when I fall out of pattern, it's redesigning itself. This is what I'm noticing. It's resetting itself up to that same pattern, which I find extremely interesting, how these videos would do this and in the order that they do it, and that I'm waking up to it. I'm starting to notice the patterns, like the Saturn-Jupiter conjunctions and when they happen in what sign. And Stellarium helps me do that. So I'm grateful for Stellarium. I'm grateful for my subs. Y'all are so kind, so intelligent. The comments, the links, the questions that you ask. Finally, you're starting to ask the right questions. Generally, that's our problem, is we ask the wrong question. And I'm starting to see a lot of growth in many of you, that you're actually you can tell you're doing your homework, and that you're paying attention, and that you're starting to click and get it, seeing the signs. But the deal is, we need to learn how to take control and manipulate this reality. And that's done by ritual. This thing is a fractal. And when you put something out to the universe, it takes it, puts it in the fractal, and repeats it. So the more that we complain, and the more that we whine, or anything negative, it's just going to repeat that pattern. But if we get up every day of our life and we say, today I'm grateful I'm breathing. I'm grateful I have another day. I'm grateful for the little things in my life, the small things. If you are grateful for the small things, the universe will increase it to bigger things. It responds to us, but we're acting the wrong way, because we're manipulated into reacting instead of responding. We need a response, which requires an intelligent thought, consideration, to where reaction, there's no thought there. It's just boom, you react. So be grateful. Be grateful for the little things in life, and then you'll watch your life change. I've been doing this for a week, and here's what's happened to me in the past week that I've noticed that's significantly different. I don't have a weight on my shoulders anymore. For some reason, and I didn't even know that I had a weight on my shoulders. I did not. I did not feel this weight until it was gone. And it's gone because I get up every day in a new mind frame. I'm going to get up and be grateful for what I do have, and stop complaining about and whining about what I don't have. And I just feel better. I can't begin to tell you. Like I said, I didn't even know I had all this weight on my back until it was gone. And now I feel like I can just float around. My body feels lighter. I don't feel burdened. I don't feel confined or constrained in any way. It's almost, it's strange to explain. But it's very freeing. I feel very free. I feel very alive. I realized I was burdening myself down with my own complaints. It was like I had a sack on my back, and every time I complained about something, I was throwing another rock in that sack. And it was just getting heavier and heavier, and I've been carrying it for so long, it felt like a part of me. Well, now that bag of rocks is gone, and I'm sprouting wings to where I float down the street now. It's easier to walk. I can't even explain it. But go be grateful. Be grateful for the little things, and you'll notice flowers start blooming in your life. Everything changes. When you're happy, the universe is going to repeat that in the fractal and bring you more happiness. But if all you want to do is complain, whine, what's wrong, whatever you focus on, the observer affects the experiment. Now, in the experiment, what happens is exactly what the observer expects to happen. All right? The electrons and protons and neutrons, they do exactly what the one running the experiment, the scientist, expects it to do. So in your life, you need to have great expectations. Dream big. Be grateful for the small things and dream really big. Have great expectations in your life, and the universe will pick up on this and start copying it into the fractal. And it will go on into the future. You can give life to it within the fractal so it can affect others. This place repeats what we tell it to do. And we tell it that by ritual. By what we do every day determines what our next days are going to be like. My mother was a pessimist her whole life. And she's been miserable her whole life. And she's never realized that it's nobody's fault but her own. I don't blame anybody for my woes and sorrows. They are my own. I made my choices, free will, non-coerced. And I'm willing to take responsibility for those choices. But I have learned that being grateful and having great expectations is the best thing that I can do for me. And to replace the dynamic in the fractal of lack and complain. Now there will be prosperity. If I'm grateful for $1, then the universe will give me $2. If I'm grateful for those $2, the universe will double it. Actually, the Bible says that it comes in thirds, that some is 30%, 60%, and 100%. That's how it manifests. And if you notice, when you start having problems and complaining, then those problems just seem to surmount. They're not getting better. They're getting worse. Here comes something else. I'm dealing with all this. Now here comes something else. Well, if we got up every single day and was grateful for the itty-bitty things, then we'll get great expectations for the really big things in our life. And I'm a happier person this week. I can't explain it. Nothing's changed but me.